All right, news of the day. Entertainment news of the day. I'm going to throw some opinions out there as well, like I did yesterday with Doctor Who. I was just reading an article on how apparently Batwoman, now as the episodes are going along, is kind of a villain. Yeah, that makes sense. In the Arrowverse, the line between hero and villain is pretty small, to be honest. So it doesn't necessarily surprise me that Batwoman's taken that turn because I'm not a huge fan of the show or necessarily the character either. Which is weird because I like Ruby Rose a lot. I think she's a fantastic actress. Anyways. Let's get into this. So The Hunt. The Hunt was delayed many times over. It's being called a cursed movie. Now it gets released and people don't like the message behind it. The over the top political stuff and the fact that it really does seem to be dividing critics. Some think, well, it's a good enough action movie if you can overlook everything else, and there are some that just find it's not good enough. So it has all of the earmarks of a future cult classic, and it's not the only cult classic I'm going to talk about. And no, I'm not going to talk about the Iron Sky sequel as being a cult classic because it's not going to be. It's crap. So just letting you know, if you haven't watched the second Iron Sky and you enjoyed the first, don't see the second. I will pass that a message along as often as I can. And I mean that as somebody who loves the first movie so much. When they de-blackify the one character and then he gets re-blackinated later, it's one of the funniest things ever. Absolutely. I thought it was amazing. But that's a whole other argument for some other time. We'll see if The Hunt ends up having that kind of a cult following later because... yeah, a movie that was delayed and pushed back, and now it's just there. And yeah, this is a bad time to be releasing movies, which leads into my next topic, which is early digital releases for movies. Now, according to executives that run movie theater companies, they're not worried about digital releases, and I get that. I do think we're going to hit a time where you have the choice, where a movie comes out. Let's say a new Star Trek movie comes out. You can watch it in the theater, or you can watch it at home. And I think that'll be within a couple of weeks of each other. I think it'll be that you can watch a movie in the theater, and then 2 weeks later, if you have now I don't know if you'd work this with like the digital code that you get right now. So right now I can go to Cineplex. Well, not right now, they're closed. But I could go to a Cineplex movie and watch it, and then I can get a digital code for an extra amount of money over top of what I paid for my movie ticket, and then I get a digital copy when it releases. Maybe bump that up so it's only 2 weeks after the movie releases, and then the rest of the general public can get it, say, 6 weeks after. So, again, I do think early digital releases are going to be a regular thing now, and you could probably make a good amount of money on this. Remember, video games make more money than movies now, so there is something to be said for people in their homes. They're willing to spend money to be entertained at home. Arnold Schwarzenegger. If you're wondering about Arnie, yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's come out, been very, very vocal during this crisis. He has now donated $1 million to help people amidst this crisis. So, there are some good stories going on out there right now, and they are worthy of note and should be tracked as such. So Schwarzenegger, he continues to show that he's a pretty decent guy. I know there are some personal things in his life. Everybody's got personal stuff in their life. So Schwarzenegger, $1 million. He's not the only one. I know there's other ones that are donating money and their time. And this is a time where we all need to come together and just ditch all the other crap. Adam Sandler was interviewed. And this is where, I've often thought with Adam Sandler that his movies at some point just became, hey, I'm going to get together with my buddies and we're going to just hang out. And that his movies weren't really, I can't say they're not movies, but some of them really don't feel like movies. Some of them don't. They feel like they're just I'm trying to be as nice about this as possible, but they don't really feel like movies. And I was saying he loves all of his movies. He says he's never phoned it in. I will say this about Sandler as well. He's not a great actor. With Adam Sandler, you basically just get Adam Sandler. No matter what movie he's in, you're kind of getting variations of the same character. There are exceptions. Apparently, Uncut Gems is very good. And of course, there are certain movies of his that I've enjoyed, but he's basically just played a bumbling idiot, and that's kind of been his character all the way through. Might be various voices he uses for said bumbling idiot, but that's kind of been the case all the way through. And so I was kind of surprised that he said he loved every movie he's made, but it may very well be, in the article I was reading said this, because he always casts his friends in his movies, his experience making those movies and then rewatching it with your friends. Like, if you made a really crappy movie with friends of yours and you rewatch it, you're probably going to be like, oh, I remember that day. That was the day that this guy had a cold. That was the day that this guy, oh yeah, I remember this. This was after he had that hoagie and then he had the gas problems. And maybe, right? I don't know. Adam Sandler to me is not, well, I used to really like Adam Sandler. I actually had one of his CDs. I had What the Hell Happened to Me. And I don't know what the hell happened to that. I don't have it anymore. But it was a good CD in parts. About half of the tracks on it were pretty good. About half of them were kind of eh. But again, it was all him and all of his buddies, and some of it was really funny, and some of it not so much. I think part of Sandler's act and part of the reason why it doesn't connect is that on that CD there were certain things that he can't get away with in a PG or PG-13 movie. And so I think maybe that's part of it. Maybe he would have been funnier if some of these movies had been rated R, but at the same time, is that lazy? There are comedians that when they go into the R-rated stuff and some of the more coarse, offensive stuff, it's not really funny. It's just offensive. So it's a fine line, and some aren't able to keep themselves from crossing over from funny into offensive, or thinking that offensive makes it funny. Again, when you're talking about senses of humor, nobody can agree on that. Thankfully, over on the Hockey Channel, my main channel, everybody always agrees on everything. That's the wonderful part, is that downvotes. What are downvotes? That's just, what are those? I do kind of get a kick out of it, especially at this point in time. I found on the main channel that downvotes have been up lately, and I'm thinking, why? Is it just that I'm putting up all these videos? People are like, I don't want to think about hockey right now. Downvote. There's nothing. Downvote. I don't know. Michonne apparently has exited The Walking Dead looking for Rick. I haven't really watched it since Glenn died. I've tried a couple of episodes. I can't. I just can't. It just, when they killed off Glenn, I went, you know what? I'm done. And I described my reasoning for this years back when they killed off Glenn, and my reasoning was simple. They spent a half of a season telling us Glenn might be dead, and with this idea that, Glenn might be alive, he might be dead, and then he's alive, and then within a couple episodes, he's dead for real. And I was like, okay, so you jerked us around, you planned this ahead of time, meaning you jerked us around knowing that you were still going to pull the rug out from under the audience. And I was done. And it was pointless, and they took out a character that I had followed for years, and it was just for shock value. And I went, I'm done. So, despite the reality that Lauren Cohan is like my favorite actress on planet Earth, I can't. I just can't. So, I apologize to Lauren and to the co-stars, because I know there's still a good cast on there, but I can't. Part of me watching a TV show is, if I'm going to invest my time in watching a TV show and potentially getting attached to characters, it's how the show treats those characters. And if they treat them like they're expendable, to me, then the show kind of becomes expendable. And with zombie shows, I know that's tricky, but still, there's a balance there. And as somebody who's watched a lot of zombie movies, right now it's kind of coming in handy. I think right now that for introverts that watch a lot of zombie movies, right now what's going on globally, we're going, and go time. We have been preparing for this. I know years and years ago, when I was raising two little kids, I used to talk to them about, okay, zombie apocalypse, what do we do about this person? And they're like, well, if they're not turned, they're gonna be, because they're kind of dumb. Is this person going to survive a zombie apocalypse? No, probably not, or yes. Okay, where do we go? What do we do? And I was always really proud of the kids. So hopefully that kind of training that parents like myself gave to our children, hopefully it's coming in handy now. All right, Birds of Prey. I didn't see Birds of Prey in the theater. I've heard good things about Birds of Prey, and I have a feeling I'm going to like it. Now, keep in mind, I enjoyed Suicide Squad as well. I enjoyed Suicide Squad as a mindless, fun movie. Sometimes people go into these like Fantastic Four is a good example. Fantastic Four was never highbrow. In terms of comic book stuff, Fantastic Four was always goofy. It was always goofy. It was always cheesy. I had a bunch of comics and books of Fantastic Four, and there's not a single one of them that if you turn them into a movie would be anything other than cheesy and really kind of dumb. That's kind of what they are. Birds of Prey, kind of along that same line. Harley Quinn, and I'm going to throw this in here too. I've tried to watch the brand new Harley Quinn cartoon series. It's just, it goes back into what I was talking about with the Sandler thing and with being offensive. I thought there was so much swearing in there that didn't feel natural. So I'm a big fan of Clerks. I'm a big fan of Letterkenny. I'm a big fan of Trailer Park Boys. So swearing doesn't offend me, but it has to feel natural. It has to feel like, okay, so that character saying that there, I get it. That works. That's natural. When you're watching a cartoon about Harley Quinn and Joker and all them, and every second word out of Harley Quinn's mouth is an F-bomb. Now, the fact that it's Kaylee Cuoco playing the role, that makes it funny on some level, because I'm like, wow, that's Penny from The Big Bang Theory. Man, there's a lot of anger in there. I don't blame her after years of playing Penny. Not the greatest character on TV, and honestly, they made it look like she drank a lot. And Penny, towards the end, you're kind of like, why is she stuck with Leonard? Leonard's really turned into a whiny loser. But Birds of Prey, the movie, I'm looking forward to seeing. Harley Quinn, the show, I've kind of had to say, you know what, I don't have an interest. I didn't even finish the first episode. I was like, this is not. Now, if you're going to say, well, keep it up, it gets better, you can do that in the comment section. I'll consider any and all recommendations right now, because Lord knows there's time to watch TV. But I was actually quite disappointed, because Harley Quinn, if played correctly, can be a really, really deep character. Considering the way she was created as sort of just, here's Joker's girlfriend, and whatever. And there really wasn't a whole lot of thought about what she'd become. So I don't think that anybody at DC understood she was going to become a major character, but she really kind of has. And it's how you play it from here that will decide whether or not cinematically, in the animated universe, whether or not she continues to be a major character or if she becomes just Joker's girlfriend again. Or whoever else's girlfriend, right? So yeah, Birds of Prey, I think, could be a cult classic. I know it was a lukewarm reception at the box office for it. It seems to me like, based on the reviews I've seen and from what fans have said, it should have legs on DVD and on digital, and it should make a decent amount of money. So here's to hoping. I also wanted to talk about something that I believe this was on Screen Rant that I was reading, and I was like, are you serious? So they have this big headline about Friday the 13th, the original movie, has this major plot hole. It has a plot hole? A Friday the 13th movie? Where Jason goes from little kid that drowned in a lake to adult in like a day? So he tracks her down to her house at the start of part 2, and you're going to pick apart part. So what they're saying is that in the original Friday the 13th movie, there's a body being thrown in through the window. The survivor of the movie goes out the front door after that happens, and Mrs. Voorhees is pulling up in front of the place. And they're like, well, there's no way she could have thrown a body through the window and then pulled up in front of the cabin right after that, unless she teleported. Yeah. If you've watched Freddy vs. Jason, they actually talk about this. Freddy vs. Jason discusses this, where Ken Kurtzinger, who played Jason in Freddy vs. Jason, says there has to be a Scooby van somewhere that Jason's in when he's not on camera to drive from one location to the next, because there's no way he could have got here this quickly. This is a staple of the Friday the 13th movies. It doesn't make any sense. It's not supposed to. But to pick that out and say, well, that's the moment that doesn't make any sense. No, the start of part 2 doesn't make any sense. The start of part 2 makes absolutely zero sense whatsoever. That he's an adult, he sneaks into this girl's apartment. How did he get there? Did he off anybody else on the way? Did he not? Well, then why did he off people on the way from one place to another in part 3? What, like, part 4, everybody on the way out of the hospital? I just don't... None of it made any sense. And then they picked that. And they're like, well, Mrs. Voorhees, unless she teleports. Watch Freddy vs. Jason and put on the commentary with Robert Englund and Ken Kurtzinger and laugh your way all the way through it. It is still my favorite commentary track on any movie I've ever watched. It's fantastic. That being said, I'm done for today. I got to do a live stream on the main channel. We've been planning on doing live streams on the main channel every Wednesday, sort of a Q&A ramble kind of format, and then gaming on Saturdays. Now, I'd love to do like gaming live streams on this channel as well, and perhaps do live streams on this channel as well. So as we get further into this and we don't know how long this is going to go on, don't be surprised if live streams end up on here. Now, the trick is this: live streams on this channel, any questions asked wouldn't be about hockey. So hockey questions are on the hockey channel, and non-hockey questions will be on this channel. We'll see how that goes. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. Channel passed 12,200 subscribers. So thank you guys for helping me get there. And we'll continue to see growth from there, as my guess, my experience on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for everything. Do hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for everything. I will talk to you again soon.